Looks like a nice place to die.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the penultimate mission of Duke Nukem: A Time to Kill. This particular mission, even though it is still in the Roman times, actually has a fairly different aesthetic and setup than most of the other levels we have run into so far. Basically, at the beginning, we have to choose between 4 different portals, and each one of those portals will lead to a very specific sub-area of sorts where we are given
Lock and load.
actually a very challenging setup to deal with. This first portal that I have taken basically has a spiral descending walkway. Technically, you could just drop down the center glass here, but the fall damage would probably knock out quite a bit of health. And actually, there is a new a replacement for an explosive barrel that are basically explosive eggs, and pretty much you don't want to blow yourself up with those. There is also an invisibility item in there, but it's not really that useful, especially considering the fact that you could pretty much blow yourself up. But the entire point of this level is to get from one teleport to the other, so that you can get back into the main hub itself. And the reason you want to make sure and destroy these pots is basically to mark off where you might have been previously. Because you can go back into portals you've already cleared out, and you still have to go back to the end portal itself, so it can be a bit of a time waster. But yeah, even though it is the second to last level, they still decide to introduce in a new enemy type, the Necro Larva. They are fairly fast-moving, low damage enemies that might be a bit difficult to hit, but thankfully, with the Super Zapper that we got in the last challenge stage, they are actually pretty easy to deal with, and you know, they're kind of like the Fire Bats in that they'll take very little damage, but they are extremely fast-moving. So thankfully, with the Super Zapper, about 3 of them will just go into the beam, and they'll all pretty much be fried to a crisp instantly. Now, the one thing that may initially be a bit confusing about navigating this level is the fact that some doorways and pathways are hidden behind these destroyable, I guess, cocoons of sorts that very reminiscent of Duke Nukem 3D, where women were caught in these incubation units. The same thing kind of happens in this last level, where different types of eggs and incubation pods will be strapped up against the wall. In normal gunfire and most weapons will not get rid of them. The only thing that really will are explosion weapons and I think the flamethrower. Which is why you'll see quite a bit of flamethrower and explosives available on this level. They want to make sure that you never get caught in a point where you can't actually progress, much in the same way that they make sure to give you quite a bit of jetpacks. Because in that first little area where you ran into the Necro Larva, if you didn't have a jetpack, you would fall directly down into a pit of lava and die. So it can be a bit of a dick move if you aren't expecting it, and even if you do give yourself a chance to pull out the jetpack, there's still a good chance you'll fall pretty much all the way down to the bottom and still suffer quite a bit of damage. But we are making good headway here. I think we are actually into the, I think this is the 3rd portal already. You can actually spend a lot of time screwing yourself over by not realizing about being able to blow off the cocoons and all that jazz. Or if you happen to end up repeating a portal without knowing that you really should be marking them off. Yeah, thankfully I'm fairly knowledgeable about where to go in this very labyrinthian final area. And I will say this is a pretty challenging stage, all in all, compared to the rest of the stages. And they actually do something fairly creative with the idea overall. Though I'm not actually sure what the point is of this minor little mirror maze here. I guess you could be mildly thrown off? I don't know. It's not too difficult to navigate, and I'm able to get some fairly good use out of the Super Zapper here. Especially the main thing you can see for the Super Zapper is that it will actually home in on multiple targets and make quick work of them. So I think even later on when you're accosted by, 4 necrolarva at one time, they're still easily dispatched as opposed to if you were trying to take them out with like a shotgun or something or a pistol. Though I'm still not exactly certain why they decided to introduce an enemy at pretty much the very end of the game. But yeah, I'm taking my time through here, mostly just making sure that I don't miss any possible health upgrades or anything like that. Because there's actually quite a few little doorways and items hidden within this gooey mucus that the aliens have set up.
Back already?
But yeah, I think we just have one more portal to take care of, and it really focuses on how annoying the necrolarva could be, but they end up actually not being too bad if you understand that the energy weapon is pretty much instant death with them. But you'll see as they're flying around that they are very fast moving, but energy weapon equals death to them. And I think it also actually shoots through walls to get to them, so it's a very good weapon overall. But I think I end up getting hit a little bit here by one of them. No, he's dead. So yeah, I think in all actuality, there's only about... Oh, that's kind of annoying. There's actually only about 3 or 4 secrets on the level overall. Some of them are kind of useful, some of them are just complete shit. Like, this is just a portable medikit. I guess I could have used the 6 health and refilled mine, but whatever.
Bastards.
And yeah, Duke, for some reason, after exiting the room, mentions that basically those enemies are annoying. Even the developers seem to realize, oh yeah, those enemies are shit, and nobody will like them. But yeah, instead of the atomic block being the secret here, it's actually this little area that you blow open that's a secret.
Yeah.
Not really sure why they didn't just maybe create a door graphic or something, and instead just constantly went with these pushable blocks for progressing through the level, but whatever. And the one good thing I will say about the necrolarva is that they do not do any knockdown like the bats, so they're a tiny bit less annoying. But, they're mostly less annoying because they're not shoved into lava pits and things like that. But before we continue on with the level proper, which is behind that atomic block, we're going to get yet another secret. I think this one is actually kind of useful. You add some more energy and a little bit more flamethrower fuel, and honestly, the flamethrower still goes through fuel like, let's say shit through a goose. But yeah, that is the end of the portals.
Enough screwing around. It's time to kill.
And we are in the final areas of the level itself. I guess this was supposed to be some kind of psychological terror on the part of the alien forces, making sure to impale heads on pikes and paint really crappy flame graphics on everything. I suppose it's at least an attempt at a different aesthetic. But yeah, this last little area right here can actually be kind of a pain, just because they really go all out with enemy placement and making sure that you're generally overwhelmed. I think there ended up being 7 or 8 necros in this room, and with enough of them pounding on you, it's basically gonna fill up the room into kind of a bullet hell. Thankfully, though, with some minor maneuvering, it shouldn't be too hard to make your way around.
I feel good.
And I stupidly decided to use my portable med kit there, even though there's a nearby secret which would have given me a little bit more health before I picked up the atomic health. And that's right behind this mound of gooey flesh. This secret isn't too great. It's mostly to make sure that you can continue on into the final room of the level, giving you some additional, flamethrower rounds and some additional incendiary RPGs. But yeah, the final room of this level is right behind this mound of flesh here. And yet again, it's another room completely filled with enemies, so I figured I was going to try to be smart here and, use my last little bit of grenades, but, yeah, I kind of fucked up. Well, that one finally got through, and that one didn't. Oh, fuck, run. So, yeah, I mean, at least that one grenade might have killed someone, right? Let's just go into the next room here, and... yeah, there you go. No, that grenade actually didn't kill anybody. This room still has about 4 necros and 3 pickups in a very small room with, next to no cover, so... This especially can be kind of a dick move, since the next area is just pretty much the last boss fight, so... we'll see you next time on the final level.